Imagine you're suddenly hit with a complex legal issue, but when you look at your bank account, there is just absolutely no way you can afford to hire a private attorney. It's a terrifying scenario, right? Well, welcome to This Explainer. I am so glad you're here today, because we're going to map out a clear, actionable path to getting free civil legal help right here in South Carolina. Let's get into it.
Look, dealing with a legal crisis, say an unexpected eviction notice or a massive family dispute, is incredibly stressful on its own. But when you add the sheer panic of navigating the justice system completely broke, that is a really tough spot to be in, and I just want to validate that for a second. But here is the good news, and honestly, it's the whole reason we made this explainer. Legal aid is a very real, powerful solution designed specifically to protect your rights when you can't afford a lawyer. You do not have to figure this out alone.
So here is our roadmap for today. We're going to quickly cover understanding legal aid, eligibility criteria, key legal organizations, the application process, alternative legal resources, and then we'll wrap it all up with a conclusion.
All right, Section 1, Understanding Legal Aid. Let's clarify exactly what this means and the specific types of problems it actually solves. First things first, we need to bust some legal jargon right out of the gate. There is a massive difference between civil cases and criminal cases. Legal aid organizations in South Carolina handle civil matters. We're talking about evictions, foreclosures, debt collection defense, getting orders of protection, things like that. They absolutely do not handle criminal cases. So, if you're facing a situation where you could actually go to jail, that's a criminal charge, and that falls to your local public defender's office, not civil legal aid.
So who actually provides this help? The heavy hitter in the state is South Carolina Legal Services, or SCLS. They're a nonprofit law firm funded by grants, and their entire mission is to protect the rights of the most vulnerable folks out there. And I really want to emphasize this point. It is literally free. If you meet their criteria and they take your case, you do not pay a dime for their representation. Their whole goal is to keep families stable and prevent homelessness.
Moving right along to Section 2, Eligibility Criteria. I know this is exactly what you're wondering right now. Okay, this sounds great, but do I actually qualify? Let's break it down.
So, eligibility is mostly based on the federal poverty guidelines. For South Carolina Legal Services, your household income generally needs to be at or below 125% of the federal poverty level. To put that into perspective using the 2026 numbers, if you live alone, that limit is $19,950 a year. For a family of 4, you're looking at $42,000. Now don't panic if you're slightly over. There are some exceptions based on specific grants that can actually help households making up to 200% of the poverty level. Just check your household size against these numbers to get a good baseline.
But wait, income isn't the whole story here. To get full legal representation, you also have to meet their asset guidelines. Basically, your liquid and non-liquid assets usually can't go over $3,000 per person, though there are a few exceptions to that. Also, SCLS sets specific case priorities every year depending on what the community actually needs. And finally, they won't touch what's called a fee-generating case. Think of a massive car accident lawsuit where a private lawyer would normally just take a cut of your settlement. Legal aid won't do those.
All right, Section 3, Key Legal Organizations. Let's introduce you to the actual groups on the ground doing this vital work.
Like we said, South Carolina Legal Services is the massive statewide provider. They have field offices covering all 46 counties. But they definitely aren't the only ones in the game. You've got the SC Bar Pro Bono program, which works to match low-income clients with private lawyers who volunteer their time. Then there's the SC Appleseed Legal Justice Center. They tackle big systemic issues and even run a specific Lawyers for Vets clinic. And if you have a disability and are dealing with something like a Medicaid appeal, Disability Rights South Carolina offers totally free legal support tailored just for you.
You should also definitely look out for community-based clinics in your area. For example, the law school at the University of South Carolina runs a pro bono clinic every other Wednesday. Now, they won't represent you in court, but they will absolutely help you understand court procedures and get your documents drafted. There's also the Clean of Heart Legal Clinic, which does specific legal consultations for folks experiencing homelessness. These local spots are an absolute lifesaver for getting immediate short-term advice.
Section 4, the application process. This is where the rubber meets the road. How do you actually get the ball rolling?
Okay, here is your step-by-step game plan. Step 1, get your documents together. You need to be totally transparent, so grab your proof of residence, your income verification, an ID, and whatever legal notices you've been served with. Step 2, apply. You can easily do this online at lawhelp.org/SC, or you can just call their intake line, it's called Lattice, at 1-888-346-5592. Step 3. Manage your expectations. After you apply, it usually takes about 5 to 7 business days for a local office to review your case. So, as tempting as it is, try not to call them every single day for an update.
Next up, Section 5. Alternative legal resources. Because what happens if you make just a little too much money, or you just have one quick legal question and don't actually need a lawyer to go to court with you?
Well, first, we got to talk about going pro se. That's just a fancy legal term for representing yourself in court without a lawyer. Honestly, it's very common in the civil justice system. Is it ideal? No. But for a lot of people, it's reality. And because it's so common, there are quite a few alternative resources out there specifically designed to give pro se folks some much-needed guidance so they aren't walking into a courtroom completely blind.
One of the coolest tools for this is SC-free legal answers. Think of it like a virtual legal clinic. If you're an adult resident, make under 250% of the poverty level, and have less than $5,000 in liquid assets, you can literally just type your civil legal question into their portal. Then a real licensed volunteer attorney logs on and answers it for you. You can only ask 3 questions a year, and it doesn't mean they're officially your lawyer forever, but it's an incredible way to get expert advice right from your couch.
But hey, what if you don't qualify for any of the pro bono stuff, but you absolutely still need to talk to a lawyer? Check out the South Carolina Bar's Lawyer Referral Service. The lawyers who participate in this program agree to charge a maximum of just $50 for a 30-minute consultation. Obviously, if you hire them to take your whole case, you'll have to pay their normal rates, but that $50 gets you guaranteed FaceTime with a pro who can tell you exactly what your options are.
And don't forget about sliding scale options. There are nonprofit law firms out there like Charleston Legal Access, built specifically for the working poor. Basically, if you earn too much for free legal aid but way too little to pay a standard private attorney $300 an hour, these organizations bridge that gap. They look at your income and family size, and they charge you a reduced fee based strictly on what you can actually afford.
Finally, Section 6, Conclusion. We have covered a ton of information today, and I want to quickly summarize your next moves.
So, here is your homework. The minute this explainer is over, if you need help, do these 3 things. 1. Check your income against those federal poverty level guidelines. 2. Go gather up all your financial documents and any legal papers you've received. 3. Hop online to lawhelp.org/SC or call the intake line at 1-888-346-5592. The help is out there waiting for you. You just have to reach out and grab it.
I'll leave you with this thought. The legal system impacts almost everything. Our homes, our families, our money. Justice absolutely should not be a luxury item that only the wealthy can afford. So how are you going to use these tools to protect your rights today? And maybe even more importantly, who else in your community needs to see this explainer so they know their rights too? Share this with them.
And of course, before we go, the mandatory disclaimer, this explainer is for informational purposes only. It doesn't count as official legal advice. Every single legal case is completely unique, so please reach out to a qualified attorney or one of the amazing organizations we talked about today for personalized guidance. Thank you so much for hanging out and learning with me today. If you found this useful, hit that subscribe button. Stay focused, stay empowered, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.